29. The first lesson. Ribbon Pav, outside Hestia Familia Church. Hey! Loki shouts, jabbing a finger accusingly towards me. What the hell was that about? Huh. Didn't think I'd ever see her open her eyes. Her red gaze is sharp and accusing, which is almost unsettling. I smile politely. What do you mean, Lady Loki? Don't play dumb. She snaps, teeth bared in a grin devoid on genuine amusement. Why would Hephaestus of all people hand-deliver a sword to you? Her gaze slides to Hestia, who's still holding my arm between her boobs. That big-boobed shrimp couldn't even afford a rusty dagger. I open my mouth to defend my goddess, then stop. She's not wrong. Riveria folds her arms, voice calm but pointed. The sheath is made from minotaur hide. That would be excessive for a normal weapon, let alone one Lady Hephaestus herself would deliver and compliment. Exactly. Loki crows, smacking her palm with satisfaction. So unless the brat here stumbled into treasure, there's only one explanation. Did you, her lips curl in mock pity, use your boobs to seduce some poor fool into giving it to you? Hestia's eyes flare like firecrackers. Boobs. Even mosquito bites would be bigger than yours. At least I have options. Your brain must be as big as your boobs. She presses herself against me proudly, shoving my arm deeper into her chest. Ribbon made that SWO. I clamp a hand over her mouth before she can finish, but it's too late. The air tightens. Ice tilts her head slightly in confusion, golden eyes still locked on me. Riveria's gaze sharpens. Lefia glares daggers, knuckles whitening around her staff. And Loki looks like someone just slapped her across the face with reality itself. I'm not sure if it's because Hestia dissed her, or because she confessed that I made the sword. I think, wondering which it is. Whoa. You made that. Tiona suddenly blurts, eyes sparkling like a child who's just discovered candy. She steps forward slightly, a wide grin adorning her face. I love huge swords too. Mine's Urga, it's a double blade, but I didn't bring it with me today though. She leans forward eagerly. I'd love to show it to you if I get the chance. The tension shatters like glass. The Loki familia all look at her in collective exasperation, while I just blink in mild surprise. After a moment, I shrug. I don't really care for swords. I prefer unarmed combat. But yes, I'd love to see it. Her grin widens even more, her fingers twitching like she can barely contain herself. No way. Unarmed's my main style too. Want to spar? Before I can answer, Lefia bursts out, voice high with indignation. If you don't even like swords, how can you possibly teach Ice to use one? There's a smug glint in her eyes, like she's got me cornered. Riveria's cool voice follows, layered over Lefia's outrage. Indeed. You claimed you could teach Ice swordsmanship, yet you contradict yourself by admitting you prefer unarmed combat. The others watch quietly. I meet Riveria's eyes with a steady gaze. Just because I prefer it doesn't mean I'm not skilled with a sword. Riveria tilts her chin, lips curving in the faintest smile. Then surely you wouldn't mind proving it. So that's their plan, they don't have to say they still doubt me. They can just let their test prove or disprove me. I think it's overkill, given that Loki knows I'm not lying. Why not a quick spar with Ice? Loki cuts in tauntingly, her sly grin returning. Let's see if you can back up those claims. I don't mind. I say simply. Though, doesn't seem fair, does it? I'm just a level 1. If she simply uses brute forces, it won't prove anything. Riveria answers before Loki can. Naturally, Ice will restrict her strength to your level. I thought that was obvious. It is, but when shit does hit the fan for one reason or another, it being said allows me to seek compensation. Then I'd also ask that we use the same type of weapon. I add. I wouldn't want my blade snapped in half. HMPH. Loki crosses her arms with mock offense. Like it matters. No sword's gonna save you. We'll even provide the swords. Fine. I nod. When and where? Now. Ice says flatly. It's only a single word, but I can feel her eagerness and impatience shining through. The simplicity of it freezes the air. Lefia grits her teeth audibly, while Loki glares at me. I smile at Ice. Where? She tilts her head. Here. No. Riveria interjects firmly, raising a hand. That would cause an unnecessary commotion. If you're agreeable, Ribbon, we'll hold it at the Twilight Manor. Ooh. Then I want to spar after Ice. Tiona chirps, practically bouncing. She waves her hand like a child in class. I chuckle softly, gesturing to the sheathed sword in my arms. Sure. Just let me drop this off first. Yes. Tiona pumps her fists. Take your time. Riveria says, already settling the matter with authority. I retreat into the church, Hestia still glued to my side. Once the door closes, I absorb the sword into stomach. Even if it was made cheaply, the materials are expensive. It'd be sad if it was stolen. Although, what should I name it? I wonder, and decide to push the decision till later. Hestia peers up at me, her earlier fire dulled into worry. Are you sure you should do this? I pat her head lightly. Don't worry. I'd win. Her face flushes, and she puffs up with forced confidence. Of course you will. I knew that, so why would I worry? I smile at her denial, and together we head back out. Ribbon Pav, Twilight Manor, courtyard. Up close, it's even more impressive than I expected. The Twilight Manor looks almost like a fortress. Tall towers overlap and support one another like a complex puzzle, all climbing upward from the relatively narrow plot of land the manor is built on. The highest spire pierces the sky from the center, and in its shadow lies the courtyard where I now stand. The place is bare of decoration, no flowers, no banners, just wide, open space meant for training. It's practical and minimalistic. I turn the iron longsword in my hand, testing its weight. The balance is decent enough, but the edge is quite dull, probably to reduce the likelihood of injuries. Wouldn't wooden swords have worked just fine? There'd be a lower chance of slicing someone in half by mistake. I note. But I'm not worried. I've got someone to rely on. Notice. Autobattle protocols will engage in response to life-threatening attacks. Right. If something went catastrophically wrong, GS would take over. But if ICE really wanted me dead for whatever reason, even GS couldn't save me. My eyes flick to ICE. She stands across from me, maybe 20 meters away, posture calm, golden hair catching the sunlight. Her expression is as unreadable as ever, but her focus is absolute. Although, she seems kind of excited. I think, noticing a slight glimmer in her eyes. Around the courtyard, her familia gathers in a ring. I spot Finn sporting a shrewd smile, Bet glaring at me as though my presence alone offends him, Tion more focused on fangirling over Finn, Riveria quietly observant, Leffia cheering for Ice. Tiona waves at me the moment I meet her gaze with a bright grin, probably eager to have her turn with me. And there, my goddess, bouncing on her toes, cupping her hands around her mouth. Go get him, Riven. Hestia cheers, as if volume could tilt the odds in my favor. I sigh softly, then meet Ice's gaze again. So, how far do you want to take this? Just testing our skills, until one of us loses, or first blood. Lose. She says instantly, her voice as calm as always. I chuckle under my breath. Of course. That's fine. I can always surrender if it drags on too long. But, should I use breathing styles? Sun breathing in particular. It's technically a sword technique. Still, using it would make me look far stronger than a level 1 should. I'd be like a high level 2, maybe even a fresh level 3 at best. But then again, most of my power is in techniques anyway. Those can't be copied, and I'd never know. And the Loki familia doesn't strike me as the type to ambush me just for that. I exhale slowly, cementing my decision. I'll use it. I'll be using it everywhere, and it would have come out sooner or later. At most, people will just assume it's a skill. GS created a unique unarmed fighting style for me based on all the techniques she pulled from memory. Now, she's done something similar regarding sword techniques. I feel more confident. I think as the knowledge flows into my mind. Stances, footwork, and numerous sword techniques are mastered in an instant thanks to thought acceleration. Even the controlled rhythm of sun breathing is adjusted to my physique and increased power, due to Falna. I roll my shoulders, loosening tension, and raise my blade towards Ice, keeping thought acceleration active. The crowd's murmurs quiet as tension rises. The weight of their gazes presses in, but I remain steady. GS, since we'll be teaching her soon, can you analyze her sword style and reconstruct the version Albert likely had, filling in any missing gaps or errors? Notice. Sword techniques of Ice Wallenstein will be analyzed in real time. The reconstruction of Albert Waldstein's complete sword technique will be attempted. My gaze locks onto hers, as she raises her sword in kind. I smile. Let's begin. Asterisk 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 asterisk. A.N. Hello everyone. How are you all? If you've enjoyed the chapter and book thus far, please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones. It really helps the book out. So, this is the chapter. I decided to end it here because I wouldn't want to cut it halfway through when the fighting starts. I'll also be using a fixed update schedule starting tomorrow, that I'll hopefully be able to maintain rolling on the floor laughing loudly crying, I'll try my best. As for the chapter itself, I decided to not have Riven hold back the breathing style. Don't worry, he wouldn't just start sharing it with anyone who asks, like common idiot protagonists do, at the very least, they'd have to be dating, but anyway. My reasoning is that it's more genuine for Ice. It'd be unrealistic for her to take it seriously if it's at level 1. Riven will actually be approaching high level 3 in threat level, using all the techniques, in pure power. And he won't be using crazy techniques, or going 100% and beyond against Ice, since that's not the goal, and he doesn't want to expose all his abilities. It's purely a sword duel. 30. Set your heart ablaze. Riven Pav, Twilight Manor, Courtyard. I guess I'll need to set the pace. Ice shifts her stance in response to my words, a simple adjustment, but overflowing with the elegance of someone who's spent years honing the same movement until it became second nature. There are no wasted efforts or excess motions. I inhale, my lungs filling with air as my heart begins to hammer, pumping hot oxygen through my veins. I use sun breathing, forcing more oxygen into my blood as every muscle in my body tightens like a coiled spring. The ground cracks beneath my feet as I launch forward. To the untrained eye, it would look like I simply disappeared, way too fast for any ordinary Parosan to follow. But Ice isn't, most. Her eyes widen by the smallest fraction, not in surprise, but curiosity. And then her sword moves, already cutting down toward me. I bring my blade up to meet hers, and steel collides. The clash rings out across the courtyard with a shrill, piercing chime, sparks scattering like fireflies. Dust bursts from the ground beneath us, grass torn up as pressure ripples outward from the point of contact. And yet, it's like I smashed into a mountain. I click my tongue. Her blade doesn't budge. I pour everything into my strike, pushing harder, but it's as if an immovable object met a very stoppable force. She doesn't budge an inch. I guess this is the level of strength we should use, then. I ask, smiling as I meet her golden eyes. Ice gives a small hum, along with a tiny small nod of agreement. Then, a colossal force slams into me like a tidal wave. I skid back, boots gouging trenches into the dirt as my arms shudder from the force of her push. My arms ache even despite supposedly using similar strength, and yet her expression remains just as blank. It hurts my pride to look this weak, but this is where the fight really starts. I sigh, but my will remains unwavering. GS. I command, trusting my partner to understand. Notice, predicting and simulating the movements of individual Ice Wallenstein. Implement in-combat battle analysis and training. Time dilates as thought acceleration is activated at max capacity, speeding up my perception by 1000 times. The initial clash with Ice replays in slow motion as GS dissects all my movements, pointing out every mistake I made. The biggest issue being my use of an upward swing against a shorter opponent, with gravity as an enemy, not an ally. Time speeds up as I weaken thought acceleration. Ice takes a step forward, her blade steady and perfectly aligned, horizontal to the ground at eye level, not giving me a moment to collect myself. Overlapping silhouettes flicker in my vision as GS shows me all possible movements and attacks she could make. She thrusts her sword forward, the blade slicing through the air towards my chest. My body has long since reacted to her strike, my sword rising to meet hers as the blades sliding against each other, and I redirect the tip of her sword aside while making a cut for her torso. She pivots with mechanical grace, as my sword flies harmlessly past her ribs before her counters already coming. Steel screeches as our swords grind together and send sparks flying. She spins rapidly, her blade accelerating rapidly as she delivers a brutal, arcing strike. I could dodge in 10 different ways, but instead, I meet her strike head-on. Our blades collide. The vibration tears through my bones, rattling my organs, and in response. And I smile. Not out of arrogance. But because this is fun. Dangerous. It's the same thrill as tearing something apart with my bare hands, only with a more refined edge. The courtyard rings with the chime of clashing steel, echoing like music. Each strike I make feels cleaner, sharper, GS feeding me refinements in real time as I begin to lose myself in the rhythm of battle. One day, I think, my grin widening as I lock eyes with her again, our swords locked against each other as we each push for dominance. One day I'll fight her as an equal. Notice, 63% of Ice Wallenstein's swordsmanship analyzed. That was fast. I should probably step up. I think, now more interested in fighting than proving myself a worthy teacher. I don't feel pain. I can keep pushing so long as my mind is willing. I can keep fighting so long as my body moves. Sun breathing floods my body with endless strength, and practically infinite stamina. My body recovers almost instantly from any strain. Which means, a manic grin slowly etches itself on my face. I don't need to worry about breaking down. The thought alone is exhilarating, and the realization acts as a trigger. Instead of clashing again, I let the force of the impact push me back, widening the distance. Planting my feet, I breathe deeply, the world narrowing to the beat of my heart and the burning in my chest. Ice, not one to let up, charges towards, blade steady. Now, set your heart ablaze. Screw hiding my strength. I'm not holding back. Sun breathing, first form, dance. I explode forward. The world blurs around me as my sword blazes through the air. To me, it's more than just steel. It's like a flame flowing with me, flickering and twisting as it arcs downward in a blistering vertical slash. Ice slips back, my blade barely missing her as she raises her sword in a smooth arc to counter. It won't be that easy. I grin, abandoning the slash and twisting my torso. Sun breathing, second form, clear blue sky. My body whips around as I land, spinning into a full 360 degrees slash. The air splits with a sharp hiss, the ground beneath is tearing open as my blade carves a deep trench and dust sprays upward, after Ice dodges by leaping back again. But I don't stop. Third form, raging sun. My feet slam into the earth, propelling me forward. Two horizontal slashes rip through the air in quick succession. Ice slips past the first by a hair, but the second she can't escape from, and the clash of steel echoes as she parries, the recoil pushing her back and leaving imprints on the ground as she redirects the blow. Her golden eyes sharpen, and in the next instant, she slides her blade along mine, stepping into my guard for a slash aimed at my ribs. Fourth form, burning bones, summer sun. I spiral my sword in a sudden twist, catching her slash and flinging it wide before vaulting into a backflip. Fifth form, solar heat haze. Midair, I twist, my blade flashing in a horizontal arc that hisses toward her neck. She ducks cleanly, the attack singing over her hair as she looks up towards me with a bit more seriousness. Forms blur together. Sixth, seventh, eighth. I chain them into one seamless storm, each strike faster, sharper, heavier. Intended to kill the king of demons, but now adapted perfectly to face a human opponent. I don't let her breathe. I don't give her room. Every time she moves to attack, I'm already countering. Every time she tries to retreat, I'm already chasing. Step by step, I begin pushing her back. The courtyard shakes with our rhythm, steel colliding again and again, the air ringing like a blacksmith's forge. Gasps ripple from the Loki familia onlookers, and I catch Hestia shouting encouragement over the din. And then, notice, analysis of Ice Wallenstein's swordsmanship complete. Reconstruction of Albert Waldstein's original technique partially complete. Upload it to my mind. A sharp breath leaves me as I finally ease back, pausing my relentless pursuit. Ice doesn't lunge in, she simply watches, golden eyes steady, waiting for me to make the next move. Despite everything, her expression hasn't changed much. She doesn't look tired, nor is she shaken. Just calm, focused, and the tiniest bit curious. I smile, tilting my head innocently. I think I've more than proved I can swing a sword. Maybe it's time I showed that I can teach as well. Ice Pav, Twilight Manor, Courtyard. Teach. The word slips out of my mouth, tilting my thoughts. I don't understand what he means, but the rest, I can't deny. He's strong. He's only level 1, yet his speed and strength rival a veteran level 3. His techniques are phenomenal, and seem to have gotten better with time. And more than that, his aura. It's like a blinding sun. It draws my attention from afar, yet burns me up close. What makes him strong? I wonder, eyes narrowing as I grip my blade tighter. Is it talent, a skill, or something else entirely? I've been watching him from the beginning. Every movement, every strike. And still I don't know. But I want to. So, I'll fight. I raise my sword again, feet shifting into stance. Riven finally finishes whatever strange preparation he was doing, and he suddenly feels more dangerous. And then he comes. My brow furrows as he swings. Something feels wrong. Familiar. Our swords meet dead center, sparks bursting between us as we clash with perfect symmetry. That's my technique. No. It must be coincidence. No one could copy it in such a short time, much less mid-battle. I pull back to prepare for my next attack, only for his sword to thrust forward in the exact same motion I used minutes ago, aimed at my face. I parry it instantly. But then he slides his blade down mine with the same movement I used to parry him before. His follow-up comes in my rhythm, my timing. My stomach twists. He's using my techniques. Another clash. Another mirrored strike. My eyes widen as I realize the truth. Not only has he imitated me, he's adapted my techniques to suit him, and he's improving. Each slash cuts sharper. Each step is finished faster. Each strike is closer to perfection. He's evolving before my eyes. It's almost like watching fathers training again. The thought drifts up unbidden as our swords clash again. His stance, his timing, even his corrections, they're rougher, but the rhythm feels familiar. Focus. Riven's voice cuts through my thoughts. I'd be a bad teacher if I beat you while you were daydreaming. My eyes widen slightly. So that's what he meant. I'm not angry about him copying my techniques. I copied them too. That's how I learned. This isn't the time to reminisce, it's a chance to improve. I shift my weight, tighten my grip on my sword. The courtyard fades away as my focus intensifies. Faces, murmurs, cheers, the whole world narrows to the point of his sword. Each thrust I throw, he refines. Each parry he takes, he redirects the blow, better than I could. My own flaws are reflected back at me, and improved. His movements aren't mockery. They're a mirror showing me what I could be. The tempo slows in my mind. My breath steadies, sliding into perfect sync with my footwork. In, out. In, out. I see Father's silhouette overlapping with Riven's in every movement. That memory, a single impossible technique. One he told me I want ready to learn it. But right now, with each and every strike, I feel closer to grasping it. My blade floats level with the ground. But still, something's missing. Something infinitely close, yet still far off. I whisper without thinking, lips chanting the old name, Ariel. The air shifts as my muscles coil like springs. The technique feels whole, incomplete yet powerful, as I launch forward. My thrust becomes a slash at speed blinding even to me, as magic surges through my limbs. And then reality snaps back. My eyes widen as Riven's blade shatters under the impact, shards spinning away like stars. My sword continues downward at full power, full speed, no holding back, magic stacked on top. And it's too late to stop it as it makes contact. Chapter was supposed to end there. Would that cliffhanger been fine? Rolling on the floor laughing. Hestia Pav, Twilight Manor, Courtyard. BOOOOM. The courtyard explodes with light and sound. Dust and wind whip outward like a shockwave, forcing me to shield my eyes. Riven. My voice cracks, swallowed by the ringing in my ears. When I lower my arm, all I see is a churning wall of dust and debris. A dark gash carved into the earth stretches from the center of the impact like a scar. Blood splattered on the grass in red arcs. My heart lurches. No. 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 Around me, the Loki familia's faces are frozen in shock. Even Bet's smirk is gone. Riveria's lips press thin as her eyes flash, calculating how to do damage control and salvage the situation. Some of the younger members look pale, Lefia's knuckles white on her staff. This wasn't supposed to happen. I might be clueless about a lot of things, but even I know Ice just moved faster than she was allowed to, used magic she wasn't supposed to. And that wasn't sparring. It was a killing blow. Riveria is the first to return to her senses. Someone get the Dian Sect Familia and bring high-grade potions, all you can carry. Move. Her voice is calm but edged with underlying tension, and the courtyard bursts into motion as adventurers scatter. I can't move. My knees shake as I stare at the ravine clawed into the ground. The only thing keeping me upright is the faint flicker of Riven's Falna bond still thrumming against my soul, indicating that he's alive. I run towards him, and nobody stops me. They're all too tense, and probably wary, of doing it. The dust thickens as I near, stinging my eyes. My breath comes fast and shallow. Please, please be okay. And then I see him. Riven. Tears burst free as I throw myself at him, not caring about the blood, the dirt, the smoke. I wrap my arms around him, unwilling to ever let go. Ouch. Goddess, you're hurting me. He groans, like he's in excruciating pain. For a moment my chest goes cold. Then I realize that he's lying. You're still messing with me even now. I shout, pinching him hard as my voice breaks. I remember that he can't feel pain, but that doesn't stop me from worrying. He chuckles softly, arms pulling me against him in a hug, one hand rubbing my back in a maddeningly soothing way. Sorry for making you worry, goddess. And sorry I lost the duel, even after all that bragging. Who cares about that? I'm just glad you're alive. I squeeze him tighter despite the cuts. Up close, the truth settles my heart. He's bleeding, a lot, but they're all surface wounds. Dozens of small lacerations all over his body, and a deep cut across his hand, none of which are fatal. Of course I'm alive. He smirks, seemingly unbothered by the whole ordeal. I promised I'd never leave you alone. So how can I die? I'm immortal until you leave me first. I nuzzle my forehead into his chest, half sobbing, half scolding. Idiot. Asterisk 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 asterisk. So, to clarify some things, what happened with Ice was that she kinda got enlightenment after improving some abilities. And she kinda got too in the zone and forgot to limit her abilities, and to not to use magic. I'm my head, the attack she just did would be the one her dad used to make the BD the OEBD, and Ariel was needed since her dad used the help of her mom, a spirit, and their magic to cause the injury. And yes, I'm doing this for plot. The good kind. Riven has his reasons for not turning tail and bolting once he realized she was gonna do that stuff even if he didn't expect the severity to which she did stuff. Riven didn't survive by BS plot armor. There's an actual reason, which expands plot a lot. I'm actually looking forward to writing it. So much so, I'm almost tempted to upload Danmachi next, but everyone waiting for MHA wouldn't want that melting face. I tried to avoid cliffhangers, but cliffhangerkin is persistent. But, as we can all see, a cliffhanger where Riven's sword breaks, and a seemingly 100% fatal attack hits him, as it connects would be diabolical. 31, Strength to fail. Ice Pav, Twilight Manor, Courtyard. I stand frozen, lips pressed tight, watching Riven and Hestia hug each other on the ground. She's crying openly, her hands trembling as she holds him. He bleeds in a dozen places, cuts, large and small, lining his arms and chest, but he's smiling like it doesn't bother him. My chest twists. I want to step forward, to apologize, maybe help. But just as I begin to move, a hand presses firmly against my shoulder. I glance back and Riveria meets my eyes, then gives a small shake of her head. Not yet. I stop. My fists clench, and I remain still, forced to watch the damage I caused. Even though the guilt refuses to leave me, another thought keeps circling my mind. How? The memory replays itself, clear as glass. His sword shattering under my strike, and the moment I realized I couldn't stop the blow, then his blue eyes flashing red as everything about him changed. He lost the manic thrill and excitement and became calm, sharp, and unyielding, almost mechanical. He caught my blade with his bare hands, redirected it, shifting its trajectory away from his body, and forced the excess force into the ground. My attack, a move enhanced by both my strength and my magic, was dispersed into the courtyard instead of cutting him down. And he's only level 1. Even with my full speed, full strength, and magic layered on top, he withstood it, and survived. He's amazing. The admiration only makes the guilt cut deeper. I shouldn't have gotten carried away. My fists tighten until my nails dig into my palms. It won't happen again. I wait silently until Riven and Hestia finally rise. The first thing that greets me is not his smile, but Hestia's glare, redate and filled with rage. You could have killed Riven, she shouts, her voice cracking. I can't deny it. If it had been anyone else, they would be dead. I'm sorry. I bow deeply, my voice even but heavy. The words are simple, but behind them I bury everything I can't say aloud. Sorry for breaking the rules. Sorry for letting myself lose control. Sorry for injuring him. Sorry for chasing a technique instead of respecting the spar. All condensed into 2 words that I feel are far too small. That's it. Hestia's voice drops low, her body trembling. You think a simple sorry is enough. You don't even sound remorseful. Do you have any idea what could have happened? She cuts off as a new voice interrupts her. Hestia. Riven's voice is calm, almost cheerful. It's fine. He lifts a hand, as if to brush the anger away, as he pays her head. I know it wasn't intentional, and getting hurt is part of the risk when you spar with someone. I don't move. My head stays bowed. But what if you weren't fine? Hestia presses, her voice breaking again. What if? It won't happen again. My words are quiet, but certain. My fists clenched harder. I'll make sure of it. Hestia looks like she'll erupt again, but Riven sighs, tired and amused all at once. Hestia, I said it's fine. Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is learning from them. His eyes flick toward me. And I think Ice has learned. A moment of silence passes, then Hestia mutters, fine, through gritted teeth, while still glaring at me with watery eyes. You can raise your head, Ice. All is forgiven, Riven says lightly. I straighten slowly. His smile greets me, and it's like nothing happened. Then his gaze shifts to Riveria. But, I'll be compensated, right? That was part of the agreement. Riveria's lips press into a thin line, her expression formal. Indeed. Our apologies that this occurred. We will provide appropriate recompense, once your wounds are treated. He shrugs indifferently. I'm not that hurt. But all right. Then his eyes turn back to me, and I tense. I expect anger, rebuke. Instead. I might have lost, but it was fun. He grins, a spark of excitement flashing in his eyes. I'm looking forward to the next one. You're already thinking of fighting again. Hestia explodes, turning on him. You're hopeless. No fighting until you recover. You're grounded. His jaw drops. Grounded. Goddess, I wasn't saying right away. That's a lie. She folds her arms with absolute certainty. And he clicks his tongue in frustration. Their exchange pulls a blink from me. The tension in my chest loosens just enough for me to speak. You didn't lose. You won. My voice is plain, but filled with certainty. I broke the rules first. I used power I shouldn't. By that alone, he won. Nah, Ribbon replies immediately. My sword broke. That's my loss. His tone leaves no room for argument. Just accept the win. Only those who fail greatly can achieve greatly, and losing gives me more reason to work harder so I can win next time. And then I understand. This is why he's so strong. Because he doesn't fear failing. He burns to improve, to rise higher, no matter how many times he falls. I nod silently. I'll work harder too. As more Familia members rush in with potions and supplies, I step back, watching quietly as Ribbon's wounds are tended. Ribbon Pav, Twilight Manor, courtyard. Damn, I almost died. The thought lingers, heavy but almost amusing. If I'm being honest, yeah, I'm not really as okay as I make it seem, physically that is. A lot of things caught me off guard. My sword snapping, for one. I thought it was because ice didn't hold back, but according to GS. Answer. Weapon integrity was already compromised prior to the clash. Excessive strain was caused during the spar, and breakage was inevitable. So it was my fault. I groan inwardly. Why didn't you warn me? Answer. You did not request monitoring of your equipment. That's on me. I shake my head slightly. When her attack came down, I was mostly confident I'd survive. In the worst case scenario, I'd sacrifice an arm or leg, use blue papilio powder, and patch myself back together. I'd live, probably. Luckily, I didn't have to. GS's auto battle mode kicked in, she seized control of my body, and used the fist of flowing water to divert the strike away from my body. Then, she channeled the force of the blow through my body and into the ground. It nearly tore me apart inside, but better that than actually getting cut up. Still, my body feels like shit. I grimace. There's no pain thanks to my skill, but the internal damage was real. And even if I've been healing it with blue papilio powder, it's not something I'd want to repeat again. While I'm stewing on that, Hestia is already uncorking potions with furious speed, practically shoving them down my throat. I swallow despite the terrible taste. Letting her fuss over me feels nice. My thoughts drift back to what I gained from all this. I need to master all my techniques properly, and the dungeon is the best place to do that. I should also focus on raising my stats and leveling up. And the biggest surprise of all. Notice. Analysis of wind element enchant magic. Ariel, complete. Magic acquired. That's why I'd been so cheerful. Because the moment she used it, I knew I could copy it. And now I had. I can't wait to test. Stop. Hestia's sharp little voice cuts into my thoughts like she's reading my mind. She's pouting, cheeks puffed, eyes narrowed. You're thinking about doing something reckless. I can feel it. Goddess. I force my expression into something neutral. Am I not allowed to think? Thinking isn't a crime, right? HMPH. She crosses her arms, glaring at me like I just confessed. Think all you want. But the second you try to do something dumb, I'm stopping you. I sigh, and another potion gets jammed into my mouth before I can argue. So much for testing Ariel. The cuts knit together, my flesh stitching back without scars, and I let blue papilio powder accelerate the internal healing. A few minutes later, and I'm whole again. I roll my shoulders, stretching experimentally, then grin at Hestia. Good as new. Actually, better than new. Her lips press tight, but I catch the faint relief in her eyes. Don't you dare put your life on the line like that again. I'll try not to, I promise, patting her head gently. Her cheeks turn red, but doesn't swat my hand away. Riveria finally steps forward, her composure restored. It's good that you're well. She inclines her head slightly. Once again, apologies for what happened. We take responsibility, and compensation will be arranged. It's fine. I wave it off easily. Really. I got more out of the spar than I expected. Still, I wonder what to ask for. Money. That's pointless. I have enough avenues to earn it quickly. I'd like to ask to see them use their magics and skills, or be trained in elven magic, but that would draw suspicion, and they'd likely refuse. So, if I wanted to play it safe. For compensation, could I see Lady Loki's wine collection? Silence. Everyone stares at me. Even Hestia, who looks at me like I've grown another head. Hell no. Loki's scream splits the courtyard, and the next second she's lunging at me like an enraged beast. You little bastard. First you try to steal ice from me, and now you want my wine. Over my dead body. Riveria catches her mid-charge, gripping her by the collar as she thrashes violently. I raise an eyebrow, kind of amused. Interesting. She didn't fight this hard over ice. So wine really is more important. I wasn't asking to take it. Just look at it. I clarify calmly. The struggling slows. Loki's face contorts as she processes my words. Then she freezes, only for her eyes to blaze again. What? Just look. You think my wine isn't good enough for you? She thrashes harder, Riveria pinching the bridge of her nose as she deals with her eternal burden, as she covers Loki's mouth and silences her. From beside me, Hestia sticks her tongue out at Loki, pulling faces like a mischievous child, making the goddess fume even more. Are you sure that's all? Riveria asks at last, her voice patient but wary. It doesn't seem like much. I nod sincerely. I like new experiences. I enjoyed the fight, I learned plenty, and seeing the collection would satisfy me. That's all. Riveria studies me for a long moment before finally inclining her head. Very well. Follow me. I see her doubt, but don't push it. I hope they have Soma. I muse inwardly as I trail behind with Hestia. If GS can analyze it, we'll serve it in the shop. Customers would never stop coming. Asterisk 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 asterisk. A.N. So, this was the chapter. Riven gets Ariel, and as I looked it up, that magic is op AF, especially with his skill set. Then, there's not much else to comment on. He used Fist of Flowing Water, from OPM, and realized he needs to train. Let me explain that part. He knows all the info, and all the techniques, and can use them quite well. The issue is more like familiarity and ability to choose the right one for the current scenario. And even with GS doing simulations, if he never uses them, he won't be as good as her. I suppose I consider GS as perfect at any technique, and Riven is at like 50% to perfection, yes, perfection, when he gets it. But still worse off than her until he properly begins using it. Then, I guess the next chap will be some other people's reactions. Yeah, you can guess who. One of them is Loki. The other. Eyes. 32. Drunken Intuition. Loki Pav, Twilight Manor. Phew. They're finally gone. I flop down on the couch like an old man after a hard day's work, an open bottle of wine already in hand. And my wine is safe. I add proudly, raising it like a trophy before taking a generous swig. Riveria gives me that look. The kind that promises a slow, excruciating death if she had less self-control. He explicitly said he just wanted to look at your collection. She reminds me flatly. Look today, steal everything tomorrow. I counter, swirling the bottle dramatically. That's how it starts. One innocent peek, and poof. Next thing you know, my entire stock's gone. That kid's turning everyone against me, I tell ya. Loki, she sighs with the patience of a veteran saint, long used to their god's shenanigans. No one's turning against you. Oh, really? Then explain this. I jab a finger at her, nearly spilling some wine. First it was ice, my precious ice. I almost tear up at the thought, but barely hold back. Now, even Tiona wants to bring him over for a sparring session. Gareth and Finn are curious about him too. And even you're defending him. You're all betraying me. I dramatically throw my free arm over my eyes like a grieving widow. Riveria just stares. You're being ridiculous. Ridiculous as getting betrayed by my own kids for Hestia's brat. I grit my teeth, taking another deep drink to wash away the heartbreak. It helps, but not enough. If alcohol can't fix your problems, I think solemnly, you're just not drunk enough yet. I tilt the bottle, and it's empty. Mama, pass me another bottle. I ask sweetly. Riveria exhales through her nose, but obediently brings one over. I snatch it from her hand immediately. Thanks. I chirp, popping it open and taking a long gulp. Loki. Rivria begins in a calm, barely restrained, lecturing tone. We're not against you. You're just not being reasonable. Ice wants to grow stronger. Tiona loves fighting. Finn and Gareth are wondering how Riven and the Hestia Familia could help our Familia. At the very least, Riven is a good combat trainer. That's all. I know that, I grumble, voice muffled by the bottle's rim. Then could you at least put aside your grudge against Hestia, she presses gently, and let Riven cooperate with us. Just for the foreseeable future. TCH. I click my tongue, lowering the bottle. My tone sobers, literally. You think I'd stop them just because I can't stand that shortstack and her kid? I'm not that petty. I sigh, staring into the glass. I'm happy the kids are learning, but don't underestimate him. That earns Riveria's attention. Her posture straightens, her expression sharpening. Did you notice something? Yeah. I set the bottle down, my gaze drifting toward the window. He's off. Like he's acting the whole time. Everything about him feels fake. The only time he felt real was when he was talking to Hestia. Riveria folds her arms, frowning slightly. You're suggesting he's been pretending all along. Not exactly. I scratch my head. Maybe yes, maybe no. But something's wrong. Think about it. Everything about him is too perfect. He wasn't fazed by us, as the strongest familia in Orario. He never lies, but somehow never tells us anything either. He always slips around the important stuff so effortlessly. No one that careful is an honest person. Perhaps he's just composed. Riveria offers, though her tone suggests she's unconvinced. Composed. I scoff. He almost died, and he acted like he only got hit by a slightly stronger breeze. He didn't even flinch. I'd expect someone to be groaning in pain, at the very least. That's not composure, that's just creepy. Recognition flickers in Riveria's eyes, and I know she's remembering the same thing. And the whole compensation thing. I continue, waving the bottle for emphasis. Suspicious as hell. He asked for payment beforehand, like he knew Ice would lose control. Maybe he didn't cause it, but he sure as hell was ready for it. That's not normal for a rookie. It's like he's reading us like an open book. He's too strong for a level 1, way too calm, and he learned her moves in minutes, and even went so far as to improve them and guide Ice to an epiphany. That's freakish. Riveria tilts her head thoughtfully. I did sense some magic after the impact. She murmurs. It was barely noticeable, there was no chant, and seemed to be gathered inside Riven. I dismissed it, but, if he can do that, then yes. He's far from ordinary. Exactly. I take a triumphant gulp. That bastard's hiding something. I just can't tell what. My voice grows lower, carrying a rare serious. And we owe him 5 million valis because Ice's development ability actually leveled up, the irony's killing me. The weight of that thought flattens me onto the couch. I tip the bottle into my mouth again, half laying, half moping. I'm going to drink until this stops hurting. This is serious. Riveria says softly. We should tell Finn, Gareth, and the others, just in case Riven does pose a threat. He doesn't. I reply instantly. He wasn't lying when he said he doesn't mean to harm or exploit us. That I know. But he does want something. When you asked him about compensation, he hesitated for just an instant, before settling in seeing my wine. Riveria hums in thought, her sharp green eyes narrowing. I see. Still, we should inform them. Especially since even Hephaestus seems interested in him. I nod, mostly because the room is starting to spin. When did that happen? I blink and realize my bottle's empty again. I raise it wordlessly toward Riveria. She sighs and hands me another. At this rate, you'll finish your entire cellar alone. And it's all that big boob shrimp and her kid's fault. I declare passionately, slamming back another gulp. The alcohol's warm buzz is feeding my frustration. My cheeks are hot, my vision's fuzzy, but my indignation burns bright. Ah, that little shrimp got so lucky, I mutter, teeth grinding as the world begins to tilt. So damn lucky, I mutter, as I pass out, emptying my third bottle. Freya Pav, Tower of Babel, 50th floor. The city sprawls beneath me, a living tapestry of lights and movement. From this height, Orario looks so small, like a precious jewel resting in the palm of a god. I smile softly, fingertips brushing the cool glass as I gaze northward. Down there, among the crowd, a single presence burns brighter than all the rest. A quiet laugh escapes me. My voice is light, melodic, and full of something dangerously close to delight. Who would have thought I'd receive such a beautiful surprise today? I murmur, my eyes following Riven as he walks alongside Hestia. You never fail to astonish me. They move through the streets together, the little goddess at his side, cheerful and unassuming. It doesn't bother me. Quite the opposite. Yes. I whisper, smiling faintly. It's more convenient like this for now. A harmless goddess to keep you safe until you're ready. My reflection smiles back at me from the glass. After all, it'd be easy to take you back when the time comes. My heart swells with a familiar ache as I whisper his name. Riven, my ODR. I hadn't intended to spy on him. Not consciously. But how could I not? When a soul burns with such brilliance, even the gods are drawn to its light. To look away would be a sin. I watched everything. Their meeting, the spar, and the moment Ice and Riven collided for the final time. The clash was glorious, radiating profound beauty. I underestimated you. I admit to the empty room. To move like that at level 1, and to match the sword princess, no, surpass her, in swordsmanship. My smile widens. Magnificent. In all my centuries, I've seen countless mortals rise and fall. Heroes, tyrants, saints. But none quite like him. His swordsmanship is like a gentle sun, basking all in its light, and drawing them in, only to burn those who stray too close. I sigh, the sound laced with fond amusement. And I almost sent him a minotaur, I murmur, shaking my head. How shameful of me. Ottar. A shadow appears, kneeling behind me, his presence steady and massive. Lady Freya. Ottar rumbles, awaiting my word. I don't turn, my eyes remaining locked on Riven's distant form. I don't think the little gift we prepared for Riven will suffice anymore. It feels inadequate. What would you have us do? He asks calmly, not questioning why, and choosing only to obey. My lips curve into a smile that few could ever hope to resist. Something stronger. Something that would give a level 4 adventurer trouble. I glance over my shoulder and meet his eyes. He deserves a worthy challenge. It's the only way he'll grow. As you command. Ottar rises and departs, as silent as ever, the door closing behind him. I remain there, motionless, my gaze lingering long after Riven vanishes between the buildings. And the faint ache of loneliness and yearning begins to tighten in my chest. Should I be more patient? I muse aloud, tracing small circles on the glass with my fingertip. I've already shown so much restraint. But I need him to grow stronger before I claim him. I sigh. I close my eyes and lean my forehead against the window. The evening sun catches my hair, painting the glass in molten gold. In that reflection, I can almost see the future I crave. A world where he stands beside me. A world where he smiles only for me. Where his light and brilliance shine for me alone. My fingers press lightly against the glass, as if I could touch him through it. Soon. I whisper. You'll understand. You'll come back to me, there's no other path left to you. A tender sigh escapes my lips. I'll erase everything that stands in our way. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hello everyone. How are you all? If you've enjoyed the chapter and book thus far, please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones. It really helps the book out. Yay. It's still today, even if just barely melting face. So, this is the chapter, and I hope you can understand why it took so long. Please validate me by telling me it was worth it. I mean, I out quite a lot of work into getting their personalities right, which hopefully I did well. There's also not much to say this chapter, since it's a reaction to the previous one, but I suppose I write in POVs, so keep in mind that sometimes, their analysis would be wrong. Loki can't understand what's going on with Riven, and can't pinpoint he's basically emulating emotions. Riveria doesn't know what Riven was using magic for blue papilio powder to heal internal injuries, but she ignored it because the consumption was very small, and it didn't seem harmful, plus. You guessed it. GS. The best girl was doing the most, and kept it as quiet as possible, but still wasn't enough. And Riven is kinda screwed, but I guess he'd like that. Getting bashed by a level 4 monster, when he's just level 1 is cruel. But the grave has been dug. Also, Freya's not evil, so I'll also ask for some magic suggestions Riven could get. I've already got an idea in mind myself, and I'm kinda hoping for better ones, so please feel free to drop some. And finally, do you guys find these enjoyable, or at the very least useful? Should I continue writing them, or should I stop? Let me know. You can also read 10 chapters ahead and support me at patreon.com/amweekly. Anyway, that all from me. I'll be heading to bed almost immediately, so I hope you all have a great day, night heart. To be continued.